Adams, aka Jay.
Hi, my name is Jay. It's a pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, pleasure to meet you too, man. Hey, coming to you live today from the KDUS studio here in Phoenix. We had a remote schedule, but some circumstances came up, made that adjustment. We're in here with Corey today. Corey got us behind the glass. Good to be here. Good to see you, Corey. Before we get started, this segment right here is brought to you by
Colt Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show, one of the first to launch nitrogen-infused coffee. They offer everything from specialty coffees to a botanical infusion line of caffeine and sugar-free brewed beverages. Call Colt Artisan Beverage Company at 434-0939 or visit ilovecolt.com for more information.
And if you want to get at us, you can holler at us on the Easy Sports Talk hotline. Again, Corey's behind the glass. Hit us up at 602-260-1060 if you want to tweet at us at the Easy Sports Talk, at Ed Smith Speaks, and Javon Love, and that's Love with L-U-V. And before I forget something really important here, wanted to send a special shout out to Mr. and Mrs. D'Alicio celebrating their 67th wedding anniversary.
That's awesome.
I had the pleasure of having some dinner with the family last week, and just wanted to give them a shout out. One of the most beautiful couples I know in the world, and wanted to wish them a happy anniversary. So, lot going on in the world of sports, Jay. This is one of those weeks where you wish you were a daily show instead of a weekly show because we're a few days behind all the goodness that has been happening. One of the biggest stories in all the sports, not just here in the Valley, is everything that's been going on with Kyler Murray, our franchise quarterback here in the Valley with the Arizona Cardinals. Signed that extension last week for $230.5 million.
Yeah, with about $160 million guaranteed.
And then there were some stipulations that came out within this contract. First off, let me read something from Kyler Murray to set up everything for this. Last year, there was a quote. Kyler was asked, I guess, about his thoughts on watching film and some of the story maybe about how he wasn't the biggest film buff, let's call it that. And he said, I think I was blessed with the cognitive skills to just go out there and just see it before it happens. I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit there and kill myself watching film. I don't sit there for 24 hours and break down this team and that team and watch every game because in my head, I see so much. So that was his quote.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that within this contract for $230.5 million,
yes, sir.
They had all kind of clauses. One of them we'll get to later on. He had some other things. One of them stipulated that he had to have at least 4 hours of independent study per week during the season. And the contract defined independent study to include the study of the material provided to him by the club in order to prepare for the club's next upcoming game, including, without limitation, any such material provided via an iPad or other electronic device. So basically, Jay, they're saying we need you to study, and we're going to put it in the contract that you study.
Right.
And this was a huge uproar for me. It was I had to go back and read it again. I was like, wait a minute, whoa. Part of our job as professional athletes, especially as football players, baseball I played almost a decade at. I studied pitchers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had a little notebook on them and tendencies, but for an NFL athlete, especially a quarterback, the whole nature of your being is knowing your opponent through film study, knowing yourself, what you're doing well, what you're not doing well, your tendencies. Are you tipping anything? Can you pick up anything through film study?
Right.
And he's told, he pretty much told everybody he doesn't do film study. That's not his thing.
Yeah.
But then they go and put this in his clause. What were your thoughts when you saw this?
When I heard about it, I said, this just confirms not confirms. It just goes to say that there's a lot of learning that still has to be done, right? So there's a progression, and I think in his press conference, which we'll get into later, that impromptu press conference, he said that it's almost laughable. He said funny, but it's almost laughable for people to think that I can get to this point without studying. And it's not saying that you're not studying. It's just saying that it's the guy who's in class that takes notes, but then doesn't go home and then look over the notes or take a little bit of time to read additional before he takes the test. And he wonders why he gets a C. You see what I mean? It doesn't mean that you didn't study at all. It just means that you didn't put in the necessary amount of time to become, let's say, an A student. So an A student or a franchise quarterback, because they're paying them like that, which opens up a whole nother can of worms. But it just means that they, from what they understand, from what they know inside that building, inside that organization, he's not doing the bare minimum to take the next step in his progression, in his evolution as a quarterback and as a starting quarterback and a star quarterback.
You and I talked about this leadership. You actually asked the other day or last week about, do you have to like something to be good at it? Where does greatness come from, that type of thing?
Yeah.
I mean, this to me is the epitome of, I'm good, I'm going to do my thing, leave me alone. Where is his desire to be the best in the game? You can't tell me that a little extra film study. And here's the thing, if it's so obvious that your team has to put a clause like this in your contract, which puts everybody out there for embarrassment and everything like that. Yeah. But if it's that obvious to them, and then we've talked about it, I'm just floored at this. Now I'm going to ask you something, because we're going to have Jay on. Brother Earl's going to join this next segment.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this question. Is this, because I've been listening all week, and we've had people backing him.
Yeah.
We've had people that are just slamming him. Most of the players, especially, former NFL players, are like, are you kidding me? And it's like, this is an embarrassment.
Yeah, keep in mind,
right?
This is for all accounts and purposes, this is an unprecedented clause.
Never been seen
now
before.
You've seen Zion recently has a weight clause in his contract extension. We've seen weight related things, so that's not an issue in terms of you have to be under this weight or else you're going to get penalized. But when it comes to preparation, that's, again, has this been something? It makes me ask the question: has this been an issue that maybe they've said, "Hey, man, notice that you didn't study a whole lot last week for the game. You did, you had X amount of." This is what your performance was. Can you get a couple more hours in this week? Yeah, coach, yeah, I'll get it. If the next week comes, hey, notice that you didn't do X, Y, Z. Can we make sure we really need you to do it. If you're going to be, if we're going to get to the next level, we need you. Well, yeah, I'm talented. I'm good. And so that's sometimes it's what's that, Icarus, whereas, flying to the sun and then the wings melt, right? So it's the hubris. It's thinking that you're good, that what you've done, I've gotten to this point, right? So I'm good, right? No, you need to sometimes, if you want a different result, you have to do something different to be able to get a different result.
Here's the other thing, bro. They just gave you $230 million.
Which begs another question.
100, yeah, from the franchise standpoint. If you have these kind of doubts, what's the harm of waiting for me if, you had this kind of doubt in this young man, he wasn't putting up, but we're just going to throw 230 at him and then throw this clause in. Let me ask you a question real quick. A lot of people have come to his support, even some, African-American athletes throwing that, well, this is this is another example of, and I'll tell you this much, bro.
Another example of the black quarterback being kind of being called maybe slow or dumb or ill-prepared. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the thing, bro. Just because it happens to an African-American quarterback does not make it racial.
Yeah.
This is a situation where Kyler Murray has set himself up to be examined like this. And, I threw an example at you earlier that I won't throw back out.
Yeah.
But it's like we got to come to the rescue of this young black quarterback. No. This is one of those. Not all the time. Everything isn't a racial issue. We're not questioning his mental capacity to do the job.
Just saying, the job.
We're questioning his desire and, I guess, dedication to his trait.
Right.
When they have to almost beg you because, we got to put this clause in there and, just to make sure. And here's the other thing, Jay. You know how little 4 hours a week is of study and preparation for it? There are quarterbacks who go home. As a tight end, I used to go home and put several hours in every evening to, for all the checks and things I needed to know. And you had something?
Yeah, I was going to say, here's the thing, though. So me, because when we joined forces, I think you was a little worried, man, this dude about to be bringing race and everything. I'm a dude that'll look for that stuff. I'm one of those guys that will maybe try to parse some of those things out. But this is not that. This is not that. I totally disagree with it. I talked to my oldest son when he came home he's going to be here for the next few weeks. And so first of all, he didn't think it was a big deal that Kyler wasn't studying all that much. He's super talented. I said, son, come on, son. And then he started to buy into this theory of, yeah, it's because he's a black quarterback. And I said, no, son, that is not the case. This is not that.
This is not that.
This is not that. This is not that.
No, and like I said, we're going to get into this. We're going to continue to talk to this. We got Brother Earl, Casual E from KSRN. He's going to join this next segment. I can't wait to get his thoughts on this. And we're going to, Corey, I want you to feel free to jump in here as well, because, we want to get all kind of points of view on this. So, hey, Easy and Jay, appreciate you hanging out. Easy Sports Talk Show. Mark is in the studio from True Narrative Media, hanging out with us as well. If you've seen any of our recent posts and things like that, that's all courtesy of Brother Mark and True Narrative. Some good stuff, bro.
Yeah.
So we're going to take this break coming up here. We got Brother Earl, like I said, mentioned, coming on the show. Got a bunch of different people tweeting at us and sending messages. Brother Paul, I got to read this stuff and see what we got. Hey, Easy and Jay, like I said, Easy Sports Talk. Going to take this break. KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD, channel 200.7, coming to you live from the studio today. Be back after these messages, folks.
You can.
So much going on, bro.
Ooh. Yeah.
And that's a great point, Earl. And I brought this up on the Believe in Arizona Cardinals podcast, where you can find every week.
You can find it on, you can go to easysportstalk.com, you can go to believe.com, or just search Believe in the Arizona Cardinals wherever you find your podcast. Go to the Sirius XM.
The importance of film study, Earl, is not just to learn your opponent. That's one of the most important things. When I used to study film, and this is a tight end. I'm facing Michael Strahan this week, so I want to find out, what is his strength. His strength, everything is his strength. But I want to find out if there's some way. Does he not like dudes around his legs, on the backside? Can I cut him? Can I do this? Can I use a quick first step to get in front of him or do this? I want to find out about the linebackers. I'm looking, finding tendencies. It's all about that, but it's also about finding out about yourself.
Yeah.
There are times when, Kyler might think he's the most imperfect or perfect player in the world, but there are times when you can learn stuff about yourself. Are you tipping something? Are you, giving something away pre-snap? Or, are you getting out of the pocket too quick? Maybe I can step up. Maybe I can look at film of some of the other greats to help me elevate my game. Look at the Drew Brees to find out how he's managed to be a small quarterback all these years and never got balls batted down or learn how to step in the pocket, use up your tippy toes, whatever it is. He is so above that though. And that's what and another thing you brought up, Earl, is like the organization is just coddling him by even the removal. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Earl, so again, we have Earl Burnett, Casual E from casualsports.com. That's casual sports with two Z's. So now here's one of the things where if you are not talent can take you so far. And so what I was saying to Ed on the Believe in the Arizona Cardinals podcast was it might take you to be really good elementary school athlete, or it can take you to being a really good high school athlete, a really good college athlete, or maybe even get you to the pros with with certain levels of preparation, but you're gifted in a certain way with the strong arm, with the ability to be elusive. But once you get to a certain point where more is expected of you, you have to do something different to be able to get a different result. And if that different result comes in the form of really starting to become, you don't have to necessarily be a gym rat or a film guru, but to become more familiar with being able to find some of those little tendencies instead of letting your athletic ability take over. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and real quick on that, yeah. And here's an example of so again that black quarterback thing. I'm gonna give you two examples. And again, talent can help to make you superb, but what about getting to the next level? So one example is Michael Vick. Michael Vick is, I mean, he was amazing,
Yeah.
but he even admitted that he didn't study
Didn't
the
study.
playbook like he should have. And then there's Brett Favre. Brett Favre is notorious for not being in that film study, and they're both Hall of Fame quality players, right? But what additional bits of talent could they have squeezed out
Mhm.
if they had spent more time in looking at film and looking at doing those types of preparations?
And do you have time to hang out with us a little longer, brother Earl? Okay, so we got a break coming. I'm going to toss a couple things at you guys when we come back. We did want to mention brother Paul. He's been texting me over here, and his biggest, I think I'm, kind of scanning through his biggest complaint is that the organization put it in the contract and then it was leaked. And yeah.
Well, it's public knowledge. We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. And also, like I said, did have a couple. I want to get your thought on the racial aspect of it when we come back. Okay, Earl, real quick, we'll touch that and everything. In the meantime, and I knew this was going to be one of those shows where blood pressures go up a little bit. We because I mean, it's so much angst in this because we want to support him so bad, but I can't go down that road. I can't support you if you're not going to, help me help you. Hey, we're going to take this break. Easy J, Earl, Mark, Corey behind the glass. Be back after these messages. Hope you're having a great Saturday so far.
You can.
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Show. You're just an eclectic. Like I love how you just throw stuff together.
Yeah, man.
It's all organized, but you put me in different moods with the music. This segment right here is brought to you by
Majestic Services. Contact Majestic Services to do all the dirty work around your home or business. Majestic Services will pressure wash your driveways, awnings, pool decks, sidewalks, receiving docks, and more. Call Majestic Services at 602-614-9401 or go to majesticservices.net for your free no obligation quote today.
We'll jump back out to the Easy Sports Talk hotline. Got Brother Earl out there and discussing the Kyler Murray issue, the contract, the clause put in and then taken out by the organization. And real quick, Brother Earl, I want to get your thoughts on the racial aspect of this. And I'll give you a quick little snippet here. I was talking to Jay before the show, and there's a former professional athlete that went and did something real stupid back in the early 90s. And because of his color, there were a lot of people that backed him always, that still back him to this day. No way he did it, couldn't do it. He would never do it, right? And it's like part of that is, our racial backing of, in this situation, I've seen some that have jumped on that bandwagon like, well, this is just picking on another young black quarterback. And it's like, no.
Yeah, Mahomes came out and said something about
everything that's done to an African-American is not a racial issue to me. In this instance, how do you feel about, is this, once again, we're picking on, where did Kyler bring this on himself?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So then the Cardinals do the unthinkable. They remove the clause, right? Like now we're not going to see it. Oh, what? We forgot. Yeah. And so once again, another sign that they're coddling him and bowing down to him. And then I want to get both of your thoughts, and even Corey, on this. He comes out and he has his impromptu press conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically pointing the finger at us like,
at the media.
That is disgraceful to even think. And I'm like, wait a minute, who are you mad at? And I'm thinking, what did we do? All we did was report what was in the damn contract, and you allowed them to put it in there. You and your stupid agent, if that you want to come down to that.
Now the agent shares a lot of blame on this, because if you're the player, you're not necessarily going to read through the whole legalese of the whole entire contract. You're going to look at the agent and say, "What do I need to know?" And you're going to say, "Oh no, everything's good, dog. Just go ahead and sign that contract, man."
Bro, that's when people get fired.
Thank you. Woo!
Real quick, Corey, I want to get your take on this whole thing in terms of from start to finish as a young fan, because we're the old heads here. How has this been viewed by you?
Too. I don't know about you. Yeah, I agree. It's because it goes. You can even go across different sports, right? So when it comes to entitlement, when you talk about basketball players, when they go from the AAU system to going into college sports to coming to the NBA, so it cuts across all kinds of sports, and be tennis or whatever it is. But the thing is, now that it's out there, what are you going to do about it? So now it's out. So it becomes now what? Now what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be stubborn and say, I'll show you, I'm going to double down on how much I play online? Or are you going to seriously take the time to maybe seek somebody else out? And Earl, you know this because especially some of the events that you've been in the presence of Larry Fitzgerald, when you have these people that have so much knowledge around you in the world of in grown-up world, you find that you seek out a mentor to say, help me to understand what I don't know. You're successful. I want to be successful like you. You have to seek out these mentors. You think I'm right on that? And somebody in the team or what am I thinking of? Kurt Warner or whoever that might be, to seek out people that can help you.
We talked about that last week. Yep.
Yeah. Or even though Ed will laugh at me when I mention his name, you got a J.J. Watt in the locker room. Seriously, that I'm sure that besides J.J. Watt saying, look at me, he strikes me as the type of guy that's in the film room doing his thing.
Wait a minute. Let me throw a name at both of you real quick.
Okay.
Somebody who's flying under the radar and ducking for cover through this whole thing. Cliff Kingsbury, head coach. How many times in the history of football has a coach had to call a player in, close the door, and have that hard conversation with them? And then all things are done. Okay. If you're a strong enough, spine enough.
Dang.
Let's say. Let me throw this at you. And I threw this at Jay on the I believe podcast the other day. There are times when he, as a tight end, as a especially as a quarterback, young quarterback, when you're walking through the facility, the game plan, maybe it's Wednesday, Thursday, game plan's being installed, your position coach or the OC will stop you and just throw something at you real quick to see how up you are on this week's game plan. Hey, such and such, formation, blah, blah, blah. They bring the blitz off here. What do you do? And you give it back to them and you get on your way, right?
Right.
Now, you ask a player and he's like, yeah, I'm not really sure on that. That lets you know he's not doing his study work.
Right.
And that lets him know, hey, the eyes are on you right here. You need to be up on this.
Yeah.
And that's one of those situations. That too. That was unbelievable. Yeah. Panic. Okay, with 2 minutes to go, where do we go from here as far as how this is something that you can't just sweep under the rug? Is this something that carries all the way through the season, Earl?
Yes, there you go. There you
go. For all of you, Here's the thing, though. I'm curious to see how belligerent he gets because, when things don't go bad, all of a sudden now he's going to be pouting on the sideline. And then when the press is asking him the hard questions, how belligerent, because this little press conference, that showed me right there that he still does not get it. Sometimes things will happen to people and it's like, you know what? I see the light going on a little bit. This dude marches to his own beat, and to question him is beyond question. That's just that's totally what he's disgraceful that you would even think that.
Yo,
ahead,
Earl. So give him the website. Give him the website. Let them know how they can stay in touch with you.
Appreciate you, brother. You know we always come to you when we need that hotness, bro. So you have a good finish to your weekend, bro. We'll be in touch. Appreciate you hanging out. Easy and Jay, Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD channel 200.7. Be back after these messages, folks. Hit them, Jay.
You can. for more information.
Loved a lot of the names I'm seeing that are watching us right now. We got on the filming in here as well, but like on our Facebook feed, Brian Celeste, my cousin, Louis Rodriguez, Jen Nevedomsky, Amanda, Ken, Marshall, Max. Let's see, where's Max? Max was watching, yeah. Young man I've known for many years. Max Benjamin, he's watching. So just want to say thank you to everybody. Sakuna, Ron Schmidt, my cousin Brian, Janelle, everybody. We appreciate you hanging out, giving us a little time on this Saturday.
Thank you. Tell a friend to tell a
Tell a
friend.
friend to tell a friend. So before we jump into a little baseball, we kind of glazed over it last segment, but really important issue I think is that Rodney Hudson, he finally spoke yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, had been an absentee from all off-season activity. He's our starting center. We got him last year from your Raiders, but he was absent for all the activities, including the mandatory mini camp, and it was kind of speculation. What's he going through? Maybe he's thinking about retirement. And I think it was confirmed that he was taking some time to really consider next steps. And he's one of those guys, I think he's 33 years old, has been through the ringer 12 years, 12, 13 years, whatever it is. And that takes a toll on you, especially at the center position.
Especially when you have to start kicking it back up to start to, as you like to say, get calloused up, even though they don't
hit as much, but you know that season is coming. And once the season comes, I'm telling you, I mean, it's pain. It really is all the way through. Yeah. And at 33, especially, you've made your money, and you start asking yourself, man, do I really want to do this again? And I got my paper and my family's taken care of. And I can imagine there were some days, and he talked about how he wanted to spend more time with his family because it is a commitment. Wherever you live, mini camps and things like that are going on. Yeah. You have to get back to the city because there's no guarantee he lives here. He might be, living where, he went to college or grew up or whatever it is. I don't know what his living situation, but you got to commit to go back and then be away from your family. And then, these off-season programs along, mini camp, and you got to get geared up. And sometimes you're looking at it, man, and do I really want to?
So let me ask this. So when it comes down to thinking about wanting to spend more time with the family, you're closer to the end than you are at the beginning at this point in his career. You've talked candidly about kind of, a couple of back surgeries, those types of things. Can you imagine what it's like to be a center?
Oh, God.
For 12 plus seasons in the league, and you're in the wear and tear that it takes on you?
Yeah, well, all my football days, I played 5.5, 6 years. I was a backup tight end, getting in maybe 20, 25 snaps a game, not full contact like he is in the middle of a formation. So you got to throw in his 4 years of college, his 12, 13 years in the NFL at the center position. You think I'm beat up? I'm beat up. Right. You imagine what that man feels. It not just feels like now, because the misnomer is as bad as he feels now at 33, it's going to be 10 times rougher when he gets to 50, 53. I remember when I retired at 32, 33 years old, man, I was still out there running and dunking and hanging out and, going to the gym. And, man, I got to around 40, and I was like an old rental car that started to fall apart. You know how people treat rental cars, bro. We all been there. Everybody in this room and beyond. Where you see that speed bump, you don't slow down. You speed up, you're gonna make that light. Now with your car, you slow and you glide over that speed bump. Right. So football bodies are beat to a pulp. And my question, we'll keep an eye on this. I've always said this to you: when you're half out,
I've heard
like if you're thinking about retirement in football, you're almost there. And then becomes how much more you're willing to sacrifice. And here's another thing to keep an eye on. If he gets a minor something that's an injury,
he might. You know what, man? I'm good.
And you know where you could be left if you're starting center out of nowhere? Think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That injury.
They just
got that guy to come back. Brady convinced him to come back, and I think they've had a few injuries so far early on.
You can get injured at running back, at wide receiver, at linebacker. You name the position. Your quarterback and your center on the offensive side of the ball, that's like playing chess and losing your queen within the first couple moves of a game. You are done. You're not winning that one. So that makes it that much tougher. So we're going to keep an eye on not just, okay, he's back, but is he really back? 100%.
That's true. You've been I've heard that said in terms of if you're partially out, then you're most of the way there. But when it comes to if you get a nick, because you could be all in as long as everything goes smoothly. But if, man, am I really going to go and chop block that guy? Nah, not today.
Well, you start to question. Like I said, you get that injury, and it normally, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and play through this, or I'm gonna let them shoot me up. When you're this close to the finish line, Rodney might be like, you know what, I'm tired of those shots, and maybe I'm gonna sit this one out. Maybe instead of missing 1 week with a bad rib or back, I might be out 3 or 4.
And I know we want to talk a little bit about the D-backs, but that makes me think about, and this is probably why I have such an issue with discussions. I've been in boardrooms where people are treated like numbers. Okay, so how many people can you lose on your team to be able to still have us to be able to have the same level of productivity, right? And I just, when it's, okay, so you're just going to get that shot, right? Because they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about the result of the game and not you. They don't care, because once you retire or once you're released, you're not my problem anymore.
Bro, I've been shot up with enough cortisone, I should be glowing in the dark. I say it all the time. When I was one, I'm not gonna name the team.
Yeah,
bro, I was like a test tube dummy, bro. They got everything they possibly got out of me that season by injecting me, because I was just a cod piece, and they used me to the point where when the season's over, they're like, okay, thanks, we'll see you later. So that's just how it goes.
Eddie Murphy and Boomerang.
Oh my goodness. So switching gears real quick, and we'll obviously we're going to give the Diamondbacks more love as we move forward. We're getting to that point in the season where, like I said, the trade deadline is coming up on Tuesday.
They do a little bit better, man.
Diamondbacks 45-54, fourth in the NL, but 22 back in the division, because you're in a tough division with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Dodgers are running away with this.
Yeah.
Dodgers and Padres were only 7.5 does not seem like a whole bunch in the wild card. You got several teams to jump over, though.
That's just because they added the additional
spot. Yeah. 7.5. I look at that number and I'm like, hey, I've seen teams go on, 10, 11 game winning streaks and make up a few games, and before you know, you're back in it. But my fear is that with the trade deadline coming, they're going to be sellers. Bumgarner and a couple other pieces are going to be gone, and they're going to settle into that. Okay, well, we're rebuilding for next year. Are you a Diamondbacks fan, Corey? Are you concerned at the level of mediocrity in the direction of this organization? Because baseball is not a quick recovery. This is several years in, but it could also take several more before we're out of it. That's got to be tough too.
I don't appreciate your voice, man. I don't appreciate Corey coming in here like Earl with that super radio voice. I don't appreciate that, man.
And yes, we have to throw this out there. This is our first time meeting Corey too. Corey's worked with us 3 or 4 times, total meeting with this one, and we've always been on remote. So it was really nice to come in and finally get a chance to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, you're probably the one that needs an apology after seeing Jay. I said that when we first went into the studio. I was like, apologize for this guy right here. Yeah,
Love it.
So as we get closer to, because the playoffs, man, the picture's starting to formulate.
I was at the game on Wednesday.
The other day,
I was at the game on Wednesday against the Giants, and the D-backs pulled it out. The biggest thing I think,
what was the crowd like?
It was a midweek game, so it was an afternoon game. So it was a few thousand people.
When you say a few thousand, you're not talking about like Oakland A's.
No, it was better. Okay. No, it was better than that. Okay. But it was. If you have, I think what will help to, and I've said this a couple different times, what will help to galvanize or to be able to try to get some type of momentum in the Valley is if you have an exciting team where they're putting up a lot, where they're plating a lot of runs.
Yeah. And
I think that's something that will help. I think the game was, they ended up winning. They scored 8 total runs in the game. But the point is that it's you want that excitement. The Baltimore Orioles, a couple of years ago, I was out at Baltimore, if you remember, for a little vacation. And so the Baltimore Orioles they bottomed out for a couple of years, 2-3 years. And then it's about who you bring in and what your farm system does. And they're doing much better this season as compared to the last couple. So you never know if you put the right people in place and you're hopeful. And if your scouting department is good enough with finding people who are big league ready, that might be a way.
Well, here's the thing. We're at 45 wins now, 7 away from our entire 2021 total. Boy. So I guess we're heading in the right direction. The thing with baseball is it is such a, unless you strike gold with immediate, like you said, talent coming up and hitting the right free agents coming in. It can take a while for that to kind of show on the field. And when you're in a division with the Dodgers and even the Padres, the way they're spending right now, and the Giants are always,
it puts more emphasis on who you bring into your system
really does.
and trying to grow homegrown talent.
We come back, we're going to start looking at some more football, but we're going to do it on the field in terms of what the Cardinals might look this year, along with the rest of the NFC West division. So appreciate you hanging out. Easy and Jay, Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD Channel 2, 100.7. Be back after these messages, folks.
So you can.
Sports Talk Show. Hope you're enjoying the start of your weekend. Appreciate you giving us a little bit of time. We're getting it in today. A lot of
Yes, sir.
great conversation topics. Appreciate the call-ins, everybody kind of hanging out with us. This segment right here is brought to you by
True Narrative Media. True Narrative Media understands in today's world, the visual aspect of media is extremely effective in growing your business and expanding your brand awareness. True Narrative Media specializes in telling your unique story, providing a wide range of video services for companies and businesses of all sizes. For more information, call 623-335-0735 or visit TrueNarrativeMedia.com.
Yes, sir. I want to thank Brother Mark for coming in and hanging out with us, bringing all the great equipment and making us look pretty good, man.
Yeah, I look good every day.
But I got Corey behind the glass. Appreciate you, Corey. Want to talk a little bit about, with training camps opening up. So I think everybody's reported.
Yep.
Everybody's opening up, having practices. I guess
This is that come together day. Or we're all
yeah,
together.
everybody has. Yeah, and I saw as I passed the stadium on the way into the studio here, you could tell it was a big gathering of cars and everybody getting ready to go in and watch the Cardinals get it in to start this off. When I was playing most practices, I mean, like when I was with the Falcons, if you came and stood at the top of the hill, you could see what we were doing. I think they would sometimes have security rush people away, but for the most part, we didn't have these big get-togethers like they do with the Cardinals and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Celebration, the red and white day, and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, you better try it. You need them fans.
So
man.
much has changed since I played, man. Golly.
All
the different colored uniforms.
Did you go to school uphill both ways too?
Oh yeah, in the snow, in the rain, in the snow in Georgia.
Indeed.
So training camps opened up. What we'll do over the next few weeks, we're going to take a look at maybe all of the divisions, maybe a couple within a show. But today we're going to focus on the NFC West, which is our division. Got the Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, Seahawks. Last year, we finished in second place. It was the Rams 12-5, Cardinals 11-6, 49ers 10-7. Seahawks finished at 7-10. We got 3 teams into the playoffs last year. Between us, the 49ers and Rams. Rams obviously went on to win the Super Bowl. 49ers went over to Dallas and got their win.
Yeah.
We came up a little short. We didn't get our win against the Rams. And this year, my question to you is, it's been what you got something?
No.
Oh,
you just said short.
Yeah.
I don't know if you was trying to be funny or not.
My question to you is, with all the messiness of the offseason, this has been normally we would have to come up with stuff between April and now, because it's draft, it's combine, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. We haven't had a week this year. Even when we took our 2 weeks off, there was stuff happening because of all of the Kyler Murray stuff, whether they're going to, he's scraping social media right after the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Then there's the contract talk all the way through. Now the clause. I mean, it's just been such a messy offseason. Do you think this spills over? Because now we're just talking Hudson, who was absent. You got Hopkins, who has not found that mysterious thing he put in his system. We're missing him for the first 16. Marquise Brown off right now with a hamstring injury coming into camp. Non-injury or non-football related, which means he did this before he even got here.
Right.
It's just so messy. Do you think this spills over into our season?
I think it has the potential of going to two extremes. So it could help to galvanize the team to say, look, man, look at all this stuff, all this outside noise. Let's really make it about us against the world. And so we can prove that we can move forward. Oh, I love it. So that we can move forward and have a successful season. Or it could have the opposite effect and just say, well, they can already have that defeatist approach and really not put in the additional work, because a lot of the pressure is going to come on how Kyler performs without DeAndre Hopkins being there. And then, of course, there are question marks on the defensive side of the ball. We talked about and believe in the Arizona Cardinals how Zaven Collins might not be that defensive play caller. So there's a lot of question marks going in. So that 11-6 record that they had last season, I think that would be an accomplishment if they can get there again, maybe just without the swoon at the end.
Usually when everything is galvanized, everybody comes together. They come together around one leader, right?
Ooh.
I mean, usually.
Buda Baker.
Buda Baker, okay. He just signed a huge contract.
Man, it's always wonderful for you watching. You can see that Ed turns to me. He just waits. He loves me. Oh, you said that one
I'm
word?
being for real.
Yeah.
Usually when everybody comes together, they come around, and it's usually somebody who is the foundation.
Yeah.
and everybody surrounds him, and he's going to take us and all the controversy, everything we've been through. Let's get through this together.
Yeah.
Kyler's got his money now. He's got his video games. There's probably a new one coming out sometime this fall, and he's all geeked on that. He got him to take the calls out, so he no longer has to study 4 hours, extra hours a week. So, I mean, who's going to galvanize us? And that's why this could be one. I'm really interested in once we get through camp. You got to remember, there's not going to be a whole lot of players playing in the preseason games. We're going to get to camp. Kyle's going to be ready to go. What happens the first time we get controversy or there's like something that we have to? He's going to be questioned on. Does he go into his shell? Does he lead the team through the dark? Does he, just abandon everybody? It's going to be real interesting. And then throwing this, we got a hell of a start. We start with the Chiefs coming in here,
Mm-hmm.
the Raiders going to there,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Rams coming to here.
Yeah.
There's a possibility, strong possibility, we could be 0-3, 1-2 at best.
I see
coming out of that.
1-2.
Who do you think they're beating? Your Raiders? I don't
What?
think they're. I'm just
What?
well. I'm just that's a chest right there. Eh? Okay,
Um,
the Chiefs. Andy
Maybe
Reid's pretty
because
good out the box.
first week, first week.
I don't know. That looks like it could be an 0-3 for me.
Yeah, it's
And then,
possible.
question for you, and I'll give this one to Corey too. As we're talking about the 2022 Cardinals, what are some of let's talk about their strengths. What are the strengths of this team? I'll let you go first. What is the strength of this team?
The offense.
Specifically? I mean,
The
normally you'd be like running game.
Quarterback with question marks.
Okay.
I mean, but that's the strength to me.
Corey, can you come up with an absolute strength for this team?
Yeah.
Now
What
ask you
about
on
you?
the flip side, what are the weaknesses of this team? Thank you. I was going to say that's a much quicker question to answer.
Ooh,
No
Corey
running
dropping it
game.
like it's hot.
Offensive line is doo-doo at best. Just gave away our best assets on the defensive front, didn't replace them. We got two, unicorns as far as Simmons and Collins that we don't know what we're going to do with them. One of them was supposed to be the play caller. He's not ready for it. Only played 20% of the snaps last year. Oh, wait a minute.
So
Let's
it's
go
potential.
Back to strength. Yeah, let's go back to strength. We forgot to mention J.J. Watt. He's going to give us at least 8 good games this year. At least 8. He'll be healthy, right?
You are on fire today. You are on fire today.
I'm asking questions. That's all I'm doing. Just asking questions.
Oh, man.
Hey, Carly, if you're out there, give us a call, 602-260-1060. He's probably at practice now right now, but anybody, you one of his buddies, while y'all playing video games, whatnot, just tell him to give us a call. If not this week, next week. But no, seriously, give me some strengths and weaknesses of his team.
Yeah.
As we get to some of the other teams in this division, like if I said we will talk, don't give me the question, the answer now, Rams, boom, you can, wow.
Yeah.
We can't even say our
The
receiving
the only question mark that I have with the Rams is, will they have that hangover from the Super Bowl?
That's a question.
That's a valid question. But aside from that, they're loaded and ready to move
Well,
forward.
since
Same
we're
thing.
talking about our Cardinals. What's our strength? We run the ball great. No. We have a great leader at the court. No. Okay.
Talented leader. Talented
Wide receivers.
quarterback.
Our wide receiving core. Wait a minute. Okay. Our offensive line.
Got a really good center who might be retiring after this season.
All right. There you go. Yeah. Parking's not bad either. I think parking is decent. When I've seen other stadiums, our parking's pretty good. So, yeah.
Oh, that is,
There you go.
man, y'all are classic in this segment. This is wonderful. I'm loving this.
Oh my goodness.
I'm loving
Yeah.
this.
So it'll
Hot
be
fire.
interesting.
Dialogue.
When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the other teams in our division and maybe their weaknesses and strengths will match up with ours.
Ed was just waiting. He said, "When you say this, I'm gonna do this." Ed was watching film. That's how he was able to
Oh,
to
my
answer those
goodness.
questions.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my goodness.
Well, hope springs eternal because right now everybody is 0-0 and first tied for first place. So we'll see where it goes from here. In the meantime, we appreciate you hanging out with Easy and Jay, Corey and Mark on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, as well as KSLX HD Channel 2,
Tell a friend to tell a
100.7.
friend.
Coming to you live today from the studio. And been a good show. We've had a little fun here, but in all seriousness, man, I'm not very optimistic about this season. But we're going to get into the other components of our division when we come back. Again, hope you're having a great start to your weekend so far. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Be back after these messages, folks. Hit them, Jay.
Yukin, savage.
That was good stuff, Corey.
That was great. That was wonderful.
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. Been a fun show, man. When you stepped out, I told Mark, I was like, I knew this was going to be a good one. It's just something sometimes you just know what the topics and everything. I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
fun today.
Yeah.
This segment right here is brought to you by
E3 Cryo. The goal at E3 Cryo and Wellness Center is to enlighten and empower the community and better understanding the human body's self-healing capabilities. Some of the amazing benefits of their cutting-edge technologies include pain management, improved joint function, immune support, sleep improvement, and so much more. For more information, visit e3cryo.com. That's cryo.com, or call them at 602-899-2796, or just stop by their Phoenix location at 35th Avenue and Thunderbird, 13615 North 35th Avenue, suite number 2.
And just a public service announcement. We are getting ready to go into our fall. And for any company or businesses out there, we're going to be all over the valley, but we always, this is our busiest time of year going to come up. If you're a business, small or large, that would like to partner with us, drop us an email at edsmithspeaks@gmail.com. And yours, Jay, is
Javon.adams@gmail.com. That's Javon, J-A-V like Victor, ON.ADAMS@gmail.com.
and you can go to the Easy Sports Talk show Facebook page as well. Leave us a message.
Or go to easysportstalk.com and then you can also the contact us page as well.
Absolutely, because we're going to be all over the valley and we got a lot of things lined up. It's going to be a lot of fun. And before we're going to talk about some of the other teams in the division, I forgot to mention to you, both you and Corey, is we didn't even mention, like I was asking strengths and weaknesses, did our coaching pop into either one of your heads? Not maybe as far as a weakness, definitely not a strength, right? I'm just saying, I'm not trying to pile on when I'm talking about our head coach who's pretty good at starting things, but doesn't know how to finish them off.
Plays Michael Jackson all the time.
Michael Jackson.
What if he started something?
He's starting something.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at some of the other teams in the division, in our really tough division. Let's first take a look at the Rams. If I say you're first all defending Super Bowl champions,
Yeah.
You mentioned that they might be coming off the hangover. What they did, though, they went out and they almost did the same thing the Buccaneers did a couple years back. They were like, hey, let's run this back.
Right.
Because they had very little movement. They re-signed Cooper Kupp, got the extension for the quarterback over there. They actually
Stafford
did a good swap. They let Von Miller go, but then you go out and get somebody who's going to be on a war path, and Bobby Wagner within this division, something to prove, leaving Seattle.
Yeah.
So you replace Von with him in the middle. You still have your boy wide receiver who's got the knee.
The name escapes me. I know
He's out there rehabbing the knee. They'll probably end up re-signing him. What are your thoughts, both of you, on the strengths of it? Because the first thing comes to my mind when you say Rams, defense, and your boy in the middle, Donald. So
they're set up for. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they end up winning the NFC West again. But the thing is, again, you just don't know what that. I've been to the mountaintop and I know what it takes to get back there. Do we want to show dominance and get on some historic, and I say that with air quotes, run to be able to show what we can do, or are we going to be satisfied and just do enough to make the playoffs and not really leave our mark? And that's the question mark there.
I'll throw this one at you, Corey, and Jay brings up a good point because it is hard to go back up the mountain again. McVay strikes me as a guy that works smarter, not harder. Even really? Okay.
Yeah.
I just see them as, with all the weapons and tools that they have, it's one thing when you win a championship, you lose some pieces.
Yeah.
And then
because oftentimes those championship teams are the ones that get rated because people say, we want that championship
mentality. And they did lose their OC, their offensive coordinator, is now the head coach with the Minnesota Vikings. Mm-hmm. So there are holes to fill.
And they've lost some people.
They've lost some,
yeah.
McVay,
if you know Sean McVay.
But McVay strikes me as a guy. Yeah, McVay strikes me as a guy, though. It's like, okay, fellas, this is a new campaign. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let's just keep it moving. Yeah. Because a lot of times it's like coaches come back and it's like, well, we got to work even harder this year because everybody's after us. Now, McVay strikes me as guys like, okay, this worked the first time around. Nobody's playing in a preseason game. We're not putting anybody out there for injury. We're going to, get our reps in. He just seems like a guy that's really prepared for this. So I think they're going to be very tough within this division. Next team on the block is the San Francisco 49ers, getting rid of Jimmy G.
That is an odd situation because we know that it's been so public, and that typically you hear rumors, but a team never confirms the rumors. They just we're trying to get
straight up
here. No, we don't want you here. What if I took less? No, you can take less and get your behind out the door.
Turning the keys over to a young man in Trey Lance who really hasn't played much, and in his playing and doesn't done anything what I would call spectacular. I would say the strengths of the 49ers are that they have Shanahan. That dude
is
knows
this
how
one
to
of
coach
those
offensive
things
football.
where it's let me show you how smart
Could
I
be.
am, and I'll take this guy who doesn't have because Jimmy G is not terrible. He's good.
He's serviceable.
He's
Got
good.
him
He's
to the
not
Super
great.
Bowl,
He's just
yeah.
he's good. I mean, Trent Dilfer got to a Super Bowl too. But the point is,
Yeah.
in one. But all I'm saying is that Jimmy G, the way people, oftentimes we would have the our shows where we would the Pick'em show, and Earl would like blast Jimmy G. But if I remember correctly, but the point is that this is one of those. I'll show you how smart I am. I'll show you that I can take anything and make filet mignon out of whatever you give me. And that's going to be the interesting thing because we do talk about their defense and we talk about their running game and how they're able to do a lot, to be very physical.
Yeah.
I think of them that's the first thing I think about when I think of San Francisco is physical.
Something to keep an eye on is Deebo Samuel, whether they get that contract taken care of for him, and whether he's happy in that role, that dual role of running back and wide receiver, because they're putting a lot on him, but they're not paying him in that manner, and that might be a cause for him to be disgruntled. My biggest weakness for the San Francisco 49ers is always they cannot. That's a team that cannot stay healthy to save their lives.
That's true.
They drop like fly, and when it's almost like contagious. It's like a flu that runs through their organization. Kittle goes down, then you lose 2 running backs, and then an offensive line goes down. Then you lose a linebacker. It's like something that's like a bug runs through their organization. And by the end of the season, it's a mash unit.
Yeah,
that's their biggest bugaboo.
Yeah, but they ended up coming through as best they could.
Yeah.
And so now, is that maybe a result of the way in which practices are run, or those types of things, or is that just
most of their injuries happen? They're like
randomness?
freak things that happen during the season, during games. So it's not,
Yeah.
You're always on injury alert with the 49ers, and then. Last in the division, Seahawks, they seem to be in a total rebuild after getting rid of Russell Wilson. They did go out and spend some money on DJ Metcalf.
Yes.
3-year extension, I think like $24 million a year, something like that in that area. But the thing is, you've got Locke and
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith throwing passes to him. That doesn't bode well, does it, Corey?
But see, one of the things, and I don't know, did I mention this to you that, or I see this question on Believe, where you have some of those backup quarterbacks or people that I could show you what I can do, but is it better to be on the sidelines and just chilling and holding that
There's a
clipboard?
reason quarterbacks are eventually put in the backup role, and you've seen them. Corey Detmer, not Corey Detmer, our backup.
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, Corey.
Yeah.
Colt McCoy. He is great in spurts, but if
Mhm.
you ask him to lead you for 17 and teams can game plan and scheme against him for 17, it's a totally different ball game. So for Geno and Locke, who basically played his way out of Denver, and they put him in the trade as basically a player to be named later.
Yeah.
It doesn't bode well for that team. Real quick, between Corey and you, tell me. Give me quick order. How do you think this division pans out?
I'll go with it'll be the Rams. I think it'll end up being the same as last season.
You think Cardinals come in second?
Oh no, I'm sorry, Rams. Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I do because I think the 49ers will falter.
I'm thinking Rams run away with the 49ers right in the mix. Cardinals take a step back from last year. Seattle is in total rebuild dump mode. So we'll see how that works out. Next week, we'll take a look at some of the other divisions. But, hey, we're one segment from being released for the weekend, man. Just this show went fast. When they're this much fun, they always seem to go fast, though. So, and I want to give a shout-out to Brother Paul. I didn't get to a lot of your texts, man, and I apologize because I've made a comment how you don't have to study film and basketball. Paul was like, I'm hurt. You do it, because he coaches the
Yeah.
basketball team. My bad, brother Paul. I didn't mean that. Hey, we're going to take this
He
last
meant
break.
every word of it.
Take this last break. Be back after these messages, folks.
You can.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Of the Easy Sports Talk Show. Appreciate you hanging out with us this Saturday. One of the good ones, man. This is a great show. Had a lot of fun. Want to thank everybody who makes this all possible. From our partners and sponsors to friends of the show, Brother Hans and Lonnie Schatz at Cole Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show. Mr. Mike Milano and the family at Milano Music, Frank Sturpey and the Imagine Schools of Arizona family, Coach D'Alicio and the Varsity Sports Show. Once again, happy 62nd anniversary to Mama and Papa D'Alicio. Love you guys. Colton Mera and EIC Agency, Cam Rogers and the Believe Network, where you can find our Believe podcast every week. Where?
You can go to SiriusXM on the SiriusXM app. You can go wherever you find your podcast. Just search Believe in the Arizona Cardinals, BLEAV. You can also go to EasySportsTalk.com to find it as well. Share it with a friend.
Tina Smith and E3 Cryo and Wellness Center, Majestic Services. Let Majestic Services come out and do all of your dirty work. Casual Sports Network, Brother Earl and Sean, KSRN. Make sure you go visit them. Customer First Solutions, brother Mark Twain Beaver, and True Narrative Media. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming in and doing what you do. And like I said, it's unbelievable what his productions and everything look like. It takes a lot of work too. I want to thank brother. That was a real bad laugh. When have you ever heard me laugh like that? If you're driving in the car, we apologize for that. We just kind of caught you. Oh my goodness! Want to thank brother Art for calling in. Even when he's not calling, we know he's listening. So
Yes,
appreciate you, brother Art. And then want to thank you, Corey, behind the glass, man. Great to finally meet you, and a great and outstanding job and contribution as always. And then want to thank. Let me see. Know something else here. Oh, a couple of RIPs. Yeah. We lost Paul Sorvino at 83 earlier this week. I actually met Paul, Mr. Sorvino, over in California about 3.5 years ago. There was a function I was at. Got a chance to take a picture with him and meet him from the Goodfellows and all kind of different pictures, everything you can imagine. 83 years old. Was sad to see him leave us. And then also I'll throw a name at you, Tony Dow.
Yeah.
Leave It to Beaver. He was Wally. Yeah. Wally. He passed away at 77. Just the other day, I think it was yesterday or the day before, July 27th. So 3 days ago, we lost Tony Dow. And, it's like, Leave It to Beaver. My brother used to love that show, would force me to watch that show because as kids, when you have a brother, you got to alternate on who has control of the TV on different days.
Right.
On his days, it was Brady Bunch and Leave It to Beaver. I used to hate those days. But you get used to them eventually. But, yeah, so we lost Tony Dow as well. Anything I'm forgetting, man?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So what we got going to finish this weekend out, man?
We got my wife and I. We do the marriage ministry for our church, so we're doing that today. We got that meeting going on, and then do a little bit of grinding out tomorrow.
I'm still contemplating my drive because we are at the studio, which is for me
and for those
gold.
Just a peek behind the curtain. There's whenever we are either in the studio, anytime we're east of the 17. Ed always tries. There's this Chinese food place.
Chen's Chinese Bistro in Gold's Canyon,
and so it's far out. So you have to make a special trip to go out that far. So sometimes he'll talk himself in. Well, I'm close enough. I'll just go ahead and take the drive. And so he says the food is really, really good. And so that's so.
The main thing is my Egg Foo Young. It's the only place in the valley that I've found. There might be others out there. I've been searching for about 19 years. And Gold Canyon out there is way out there. So from my house, from door to door, it's 60 some odd miles. So when I'm anywhere in the area
close
of
enough
half,
to make it work. Yeah.
So I'm probably going that way. I forgot to mention here, I got to thank Brother Paul for his great contribution to today's show. He actually thanked or said we had a great show today, and part of it was because of his contribution. I love looking over and seeing the text and stuff like that. And sometimes we're like so deep in conversation, I'm constantly looking because it's like a game of double dutch. I'm trying to get, and we were kind of flowing earlier with Earl, especially when Earl was on. Yeah. And then we had the great contribution from Corey. So sometimes it's tough, but Paul is always doing his thing, man. Good luck because his boys are doing great in basketball. So he's got
basketball will humble you because it'll make you do some study. And I remember when I was doing some coaching, not to Brother Paul's level, but I was doing some coaching, and I remember I stepped up in kind of the level of competition, and so the first game we lost, and I had to really look inward and say, you know what, I need to do a better job of preparing and doing some different things. And so I took more time to be able to try to become a better coach. And so we ended up finishing the season pretty good. Well,
I have not taken on that full coaching hat yet for my son or any team for that matter. It's time consuming for one. And sometimes I think I should take a bigger role, and also don't like to be that overshadowing father, because sometimes being a former professional athlete, sometimes because I never tell anybody what I used to do, and my son, he's real quick to tell everybody what I used to. So sometimes it'll be like 3 or 4 practices in, and all of a sudden some of the kids will start asking me, then the coach, and then but I don't want to be that guy that I play professional sports, so because I've seen some activities sometimes, and it's hard to sit there and don't say it, man. Just leave it, So I want to say something, but for me, anybody who's out there volunteering, even if it's a parent or
Mhm.
non-parent, if they're volunteering their time
Yeah.
and doing that hard work and they're there for the kids every week, whether it be practice or game, it's like, I want to let them do what they do.
It becomes all consuming. Well, for me, it became very, very consuming because I wanted to be very good at what I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to be good for the kids, to help them to learn. So to take that kid that was afraid of taking a jump shot, to give them the confidence to take the dang jump shot and not worry about being yelled at if they missed the shot.
Yeah.
But you felt comfortable about taking the shot. Cool. Now we happen to win the game. Great. Well, if we didn't, great too. But did you learn? Do you have a little more confidence that you can kind of apply into your
Well,
other
I think
parts of your
because
life?
of the AAU, I guess, all sports, whether it's basketball, baseball, especially baseball and basketball, it's become your local teams are now secondary. It's more about
yeah.
development.
Footballs.
Yeah,
they
football. They have the camps and all this different type of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes it's lost is the fact that we're still dealing with young kids. We should be still trying to develop them and develop their confidence.
The confidence is
The confidence is the biggest thing. And what happens though, because at lower levels, it's become more about winning.
Yeah.
So those kids that, because there were some kids I played ball with when I was growing up, and it was like, wow, he has absolutely no skill at all. But they were right there on the team with us. They got their at bats or their jump shots and different things like that. And it was all about just building their confidence until you get to a certain level.
Yeah.
We got to high school. It was all.
Then it's separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
But up to that point, yeah, for sure. Because again, the biggest I can see it in my mind. One of the kids that took a shot in the game, made the shot, and looked at me, yay!
Yeah.
All the time that I took in practice to say it's okay to take the shot.
Shoot.
I would stop practice if the kid didn't take the shot. I would say, hold on. You had the shot. Why you can take it? Well, I thought I was going to miss. I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it again. Now take the shot. Take the shot.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
So yeah, but that's one of those things, man. I hope somehow, some way. I don't know if we're ever going back to the days of right now because it's all about
because
early
it's
ages.
It's wild, man.
Yeah.
It's
I want
wild.
to send a special shout out to my girl Beverly Stewart too, Miss Bev. Hope you're having a great day so far, and I'm gonna try to swing by and see you on my way back from Gold King. I think I already made up my mind. I think I'm going.
Oh, you're going.
I'm
You're right here. Yeah.
Might as well, man. It's So I'm over halfway. I guess I'm halfway there. So another 30 miles. What's it gonna be?
Bon Jovi living on the prayer over here. Halfway there.
Do what you do.
Yeah.
So next week, I'm not sure exactly where we're going to be at. We don't have a remote on the calendar, but we're going to look to fill the month of August. We'll be working with Brother Hans, at least a couple of spots probably there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, man, I'm telling you, we're getting ready to go into that busy time of the year, man. Once we get toward football season, we start doing our thing. It just flies by. No off days.
How many hours do you watch on a Saturday and Sunday when it comes to football? Because you watch college football.
I watch some. It all
But
depends.
Sunday.
Sunday. I
keep saying I got to come and just watch a game with you to be able to get your views better. Hey, I was at one of the watering holes that we go to.
Yeah. I know it's when you're talking about.
Ask me all about Kyler as soon as I walk through the door. But yeah, so I got to sit down and watch one with you. But you from
I watch
morning to the end of the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the dual set up with the big screen and then the smaller one, and I do split screen because I got. No, I do because I got the red zone on one portion. I usually have my nephew's game locked in on one, and then I have the other bit, and then I flip back and forth. I actually have a sheet where I have, you've seen my sheet where I have every station,
like
with every game.
A bar.
Bro, that's work. I should be getting paid for that.
Man,
I said, I should be able to write that off.
That's preparation.
Taxes. Yeah. I can write that off as a business expense, couldn't I?
You might be able to, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Anyway, great show. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody. Earl. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us, hanging out with us. Had a lot of fun. I hope, I was talking to Mark. Some people will listen and they'll agree with us. Some people will listen and they won't. But we're keeping it real and we're just having some fun and talking.
Yeah,
so
man.
I hope we're talking knowledgeable enough. So hope everybody has a great finish to your weekend. Appreciate you hanging out. Easy, Jay, Mark, Corey on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD Channel 2, 100.7. Have a great finish to your weekend. Until next week, be easy out there. We'll see you when we get back.
You can.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Corey. Great show, man. Boom. That was a good one, man.
Indeed.